Jerry Mallory here for SB Nation and PrideOfDetroit.com, here to give you bye-week awards for our Detroit Lions as well as some fantasy advice. Let's face it, sometimes the most success we get is in fantasy land here as football Detroiters. So I'm not in a good mood when it comes to football. I was expecting this bye week to be a cleansing moment for me to kind of forget about some of the woes of our 1-3 start, and it just didn't work that way. Whether it was Darius Slay popping out on the field with a couple of good plays for the Eagles, Travis Fulgham looking good as well for the Eagles. They're probably there in Philly, having some choice words for their old squad. And then every time I see DK Metcalf, I think about Jelani Tavai. So I'm not really in a good football mood. That being said, I'm not handing out a bunch of awards. I don't think the Lions really deserve it. But I have two I'm going to give you. So far, as we're at the bye week, the biggest surprise, pleasant surprise, and then the biggest disappointment. Now, before we get into that, how did you enjoy your bye week? Was it a good feeling? Were you able to cut on Red Zone? Were you able to unwind and not have those nerves and just enjoy football? Or were you looking at your fantasy team? Were you mulling over former Lions players like me? I'm hoping you had some relaxation because we have 12 straight weeks of Lions football and there's no guarantee. Now, if you're a friend of a fan or friend, I guess friend plus fan equals friend. So if you're a friend of PrideOfDetroit.com and our Twitch channel, we had some fun this weekend. This Saturday really lent itself to some good old karaoke. So whether you're a fan of or friend of old school music, or a fan of 90s rock, whatever it was, myself, Jeremy, a few others, Chris Perfett, and some of our listeners and viewers on Twitch, we had a great time. And Twitch Sings is a real cool karaoke app. I can go on and on about it, but I think we're gonna do one more before they close shop January 1st, so look out for that. So let's get into these awards. Like I said, I only got two, and then we have some fantasy advice for you all. If we're talking about the biggest surprise, the pleasant surprise, two guys come to mind. They're going to split the award, just like Jason Kidd and Grant Hill split the Rookie of the Year. Taylor Decker, Jack Fox, congratulations. When we're looking at this roster, there have not been a ton of players to be proud of, but these two have outperformed what I thought and what many thought they would do. Now, for Taylor Decker, we've seen him be good before. We've seen it in stretches, very promising rookie year. Injuries, other things have come into place. He ended last season pretty good. He got paid, and it's paying off. He has not given up one sack. He's rated the 7th best offensive tackle in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus. He's having a heck of a year. And there's been some uncertainty and injuries and fluctuation on the offensive line. But him, as well as Frank Ragnow, I got to give him some credit and props too. Him and Frank Ragnow have really been good. So, Taylor Decker, you're getting one half of that award. We split it in half, though, and we're giving it to the other guy. It's kind of sad when your punter is a pleasant surprise, but I mean, Jack Fox has been. He's been the best punter in the NFL, whether you're just watching it, whether you're looking at analytics, Pro Football Focus, and it hasn't really been close. Now, for me, I was one of those guys banging the table. I wanted Braden Mann to be our punter. I wanted us to draft this guy in around the 5th round. And so when we didn't, I was disappointed. Lo and behold, Jack Fox had something in store for us. The ability to flip the field and to gain those yards in special teams is huge. And, if we find some success later on this year, we can look at Jack Fox and some of the things he does as could be a potential reason why. Look out for the punters, man. They deserve some love too. And so for the biggest disappointment, I've got to give it to Matthew Stafford. Whether this is just rust, whether his, trajectory is going down, I don't know what it is, but he has not looked good. There's been flashes. He hasn't been horrible, but there's been some moments where, as bad as this defense has been, a typical Matthew Stafford, a better Matthew Stafford, however you want to coin it, this team could be 2-2, if not 3-1, as bad as the defense has been. And so some missed throws, missed opportunities, with the defense being like it is, Stafford has to almost play perfect. He has to be elite. He's done it before. There's no room for error because our defense just doesn't allow that. We have to outscore teams. We have to keep up. If we get a lead, we have to build upon it. If the other team gets a lead, we have to keep up. And he hasn't been able to be our typical Matthew Stafford. So he's been a disappointment. Now, in terms of fantasy, I told you before, I'm better than you at fantasy football. It's the truth. Probably fantasy sports as a whole. Now, I can't predict the future. I said the two best fantasy guys in terms of receivers and running backs would be Saquon Barkley and Adam Thielen. So one's looking pretty good. And I'm not going to toot my own horn this week. Adam Thielen is looking good. He's right now ranked in the top 3. Some of the guys ahead of him, Jamison Crowder, Chase Claypool with a random huge game. It won't last. In terms of your typical receivers, your number one guys, and consistency, he's been the best. So I'll proverbially give myself some credit for that. Saquon's been hurt. He's out for the year. You hate to see it. So what do you do now? If you're 1-4, if you're 0-5, I don't care what it is, don't give up. Don't start tanking if you're in a dynasty league. Don't start ignoring your rosters and things. 0-5 means nothing in fantasy. You can rip off 6 or 7 or 8 wins like nothing and get into the playoffs. The key now is to cast that net, cash in a few lottery tickets, and hopefully you win one. Now, there's no way of saying if Chase Claypool will have a monstrous season after the game that he had. We don't know for sure. But it was a good look. He looked good in college. Travis Fulgham, again, end zone the last 2 weeks. They need a receiver to really step up. There's no guarantee, but he looked good. Robert Tonyan, okay, he had caught a 50 million touchdowns. We don't know if this will continue, but this is what you should do. If you're 0-5, if you're 1-4, you have one, if not several guys on your team that are just not cutting the mustard. Get rid of them. Cast the net. Now, don't go after just one. Don't just go after Travis Fulgham. Don't just go after Robert Tonyan. I need you to try to get 2 of those 3 on your roster, because now you have 2 lottery tickets. If your team sucks that bad, you can get all 3 of them. Go for it. We don't know which one is going to pop, but the odds of one of them staying fantasy relevant, perhaps even being top 10 or 15 at their position, it is possible. Now, if you just pick one, I guarantee you the one you pick won't be that guy. But if you get 2 of them, now your odds increase. If you get all 3 because your roster is that bad, you're sitting pretty, especially at the tight end position. So try it out, cast that net, not just those 3, but there's other guys. This is the time of year where you're looking down and out. You're 0-5, you're 1-4. You got to throw some Hail Marys and cash in that lottery ticket. All right, guys, that's going to do it. The bye week was fun on Saturday, singing karaoke. I wish I could say I enjoyed Sunday more, but all the little Lion idiosyncrasies just kept playing in my mind. It is what it is. But I'll be back next week to talk more about Lions. Hopefully it'll be a victory. Maybe I'll even squeeze in a prediction here. Lions versus Jaguars. I mean, it's just a battle of 2 behemoths in the NFL. But in any event, keep watching, keep subscribing. What did you do during the bye week? And we want to thank each and every one of you for watching, not just me, but every video we have here weekly, the Row Report. We've got our podcast, stream, you name it. So until next time for this series, this has been Jerry Mallory for SB Nation and prideofdetroit.com.